business, physical priorities, physical health and well-being, business, physical aspects that we want to consider as we're growing and building and supersizing our business. We want to set, yesterday we looked at them, we gave ourselves an overall rating for our business's current health and well-being. Mine got a 6. So, actually, my business has got a 5, and I personally got a 6.143. I had to look that up because I was wrong. So, yeah, not exactly where I want to be, but I want to know that because that means I can look at each different business and say, okay, where do I need to start? And now, today we're going to look at how do we prioritize the different ways and the different categories we want to look at under physical well-being and health for our business. How do we want to look at those? And then let's rank those and prioritize those in what's most important. What will give us the biggest bang for our buck by addressing it first? So, for example, I broke mine down into categories. I did my personal rankings, but in priority setting, but I did not do my ones for business. So let me grab a magnifying glass and read to you what I selected. You need to decide what categories are right for you and how you want to break it down. Like I explained in our personal health and well-being physically, you might, I think I had 8 and I forgot to say stressors. So I really have 9, or stress level or stressors I didn't even consider, which I'll probably go back and redo and put that in there because I think that is a big impact on my personal health and well-being. So let's look at some different categories you could include, and you pick and choose what's right for you, and then write them down and then just rank them. What is the most important? Number 1 through how many ever you have. And they'll change over time, right? Sometimes we take care of something and we don't have to go revisit it, or we only revisit it like once a year annually. There are a lot of systems and automations I use in my businesses that I just review annually. Did the same thing in the Italian food manufacturing business. Every year we would review our systems, or anytime there was a change in our business or our suppliers or something, that would automatically trigger a system review and a documentation review related to the thing that was changed or impact it could have on any other area of the business. So here's the ones that I put. Buildings, depending on the type of business you have, will determine if you have physical buildings or locations or not. If you're working out of your house at your kitchen table, that's still your building. That's still where you're physically located when you're doing your work and running your business. So like if you're a solopreneur and you're working out of a spare room in your house, that is your physical location and facility. Is there anything that you need to do about that? If you're a manufacturer, I was in manufacturing, had my own business for 35 years. We had lots of facilities. Then you have to take into consideration, where's your manufacturing? Where's your warehousing? Where's your distribution? I was in a frozen food business, so freezers, backup freezer storage, and coolers were really important to us. Those were physical. I considered those equipment, which is another category. But any actual physical buildings, any grounds or properties that need to be taken care of. Real estate, other I put, because there's other real estate things like storage units or whatever that you have that are associated with your business that you need to keep track of. Documentation. I think documentation is a physical thing that we need to have. Now, it might be on your internet server or on your personal server. Servers, again, are equipment. But you have to consider that. I have to consider that. You don't have to. These are mine. Systems, processes, procedures, any type of systems that we use to help us run our business, we want to take into consideration. If we don't own those systems, we especially want to make sure we take them into consideration. Equipment, depending on your business, again, equipment, but almost all of our businesses have some sort of equipment. Even for my online businesses, I have lighting, I have laptop computers, I have desktop computers, I have my cell phone, I have, all kinds of things that help me to physically do that business. And I want to make sure I'm considering them. Contingency plans for infinite possibilities. Now, I know a lot of business owners don't have and have never had contingency plans. If you've been in business after COVID-19 and started after that, you might not have them yet. And I'm going to caution you to create contingency plans and have them written down and documented. So if something happens to you or you're incapacitated, somebody else can pick up that plan and they know exactly what to do. Prior to the COVID pandemic, we had nothing in any of our businesses' contingency plans about a pandemic. guess what? There's pandemic plans in every single one of them now. Why? Because that actually happened. Now, we shouldn't have to wait for something to actually happen in order to consider it as part of our contingency plan. I know people that have alien invasion as part of their contingency plan. So do whatever works for you. And then the final one I added to my list was human resources and culture. Are we making sure that the human beings that are helping us build and grow and supersize our business are actually taking care of themselves and being treated in a way that we would want to be treated? So what I will do then is I'll take my list. Oh, and then I added, I put stress under culture, because if we have a really high pressure, stressful environment, that is going to have an impact on our human resources, right? If we have different types of manufacturing, that'll have a bigger stressor on different types of our equipment. So we want to take those things into consideration. But what I want you to do today is just make your categories and then prioritize them. Maybe your physical building is your number one physical health and well-being priority. Maybe you know you need a new furnace and that's your highest priority, so you're going to put that as number one. And then just give them 1 through how many ever categories you have. Share your number one in the comments below with the rest of us so we can learn from one another, right? If I'm thinking about what is my number one over everything, would probably be I don't know. I'm going to say HR and culture and stressors. Because that's something we can always be improving and shoring up. All the others, we pretty much have a plan for and in place and priorities. But that's going to be probably my number one priority. I will do it. If I change my mind, I'll share in the comments below. But right now, that is what I'm thinking. If you need help with this in any way, what do? All you have to do is ask, right? Sometimes you just need one other person to bounce ideas off of. I will be that person for you today. Hanging with my 3 granddaughters today, but it doesn't mean I can't help. All right. Have a great day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.